Hey guys, it's Eddie and today I am back with another movie review for you all. Now, today's movie I watched very recently. I watched it on the 27th and we are in the new year. So I'm really hoping that this year I will be able to watch loads and loads of movies that I've always wanted to watch. And I know it was kind of pre-New Year, but one of the movies that I've wanted to watch since it came out was Birdman, and so that's the movie that we'll be reviewing today. Now, it's directed by Alejandro Iñárritu. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sorry if I'm not. I'm not very good with names. But I remember when this came out in 2014, and there was such an Oscar buzz about it, and everyone that watched it was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing!" Or a lot of the people that I saw on Tumblr loved it, and obviously it sort of swept the Oscars. And I was desperate to see it, but I never got the chance. So now I can see why people really loved it. And so, yeah, let's just dive right into the review because I can't wait to just give you guys my opinion on this movie. So it stars Michael Keaton, Emma Stone, Naomi Watts, and Edward Norton, which is a fantastic cast, might I add. But it centres around the story of Regan, played by Michael Keaton, an actor who is trying his best to gain critical acclaim by adapting a book into his own play and also starring in and directing it. And it's kind of his bid to break free from this superhero mould that he's sort of been tied to for years since he's played this comic book character called Birdman. So he's trying to break through that image and sort of really gain critical acclaim as an actor. He's sort of shrugging off the cloak of Birdman, a character he played over 2 decades ago, and he's really sort of trying to get recognised for his skill rather than just for being a beloved character. And breaking out of that mould. Now, the direction I must come to first because Alejandro Iñárritu he's seemingly got a perfect track record with his directing skill. Now, I already have done a review of The Revenant, and his direction in that film is incredible. And in this film, it's no different. And the thing with Alejandro's directing is that it is so... Each movie that he does is so different compared to the last in its directing style. Now with Birdman, we get this sort of continuous flow of camera movement. We're either following the characters down corridors, we're, constantly moving wherever they're looking. The camera sort of follows their direction of sight. And it's stuff like that that makes this movie feel just like one continuous shot. Obviously, it's not, but it's very cleverly done because it makes us feel like we are constantly following these characters without stopping in this film, and it's so cool. It's innovative, it's ever-flowing, it moves upwards, downwards, it follows Michael Keaton running down streets, it doesn't seem to stop, and I think that just adds to this sort of constant build of poor Regan's sort of stress in conjunction to this play that he's got to put on, and the fact that it's totally consuming his life, and it sort of helps bring this really fast pace to it, which parallels with obviously Regan's sort of failing mental health, I think, because in this movie Regan, bless him, becomes increasingly stressed, and his fear of failure because of this play is crippling, and it starts to turn into a little voice in his head. Well, I should say a big voice, actually. It's the voice of Birdman, who talks to him and is constantly telling him, you're shit, you can go back to being what you were, you can go back to being this hero. And it's this growling voice that makes you think, oh gosh, this guy really isn't well, and it makes you feel increasingly sorry for him, but it also really shows you the sort of weight on his shoulders, and it's quite sad, even though the dialogue is quite funny. But yeah, the direction certainly adds to the feeling of mania that we have, this frantic effort to get this play done and performed. Now, of course, aside from the fantastic, beautiful direction, we also have a fantastic performance from each member of the cast. Michael Keaton, in particular, in the lead role, I think is fantastic. I love the way that Michael Keaton's own story sort of parallels with Riggins, because of course Michael Keaton was, you know, famous mostly for Batman, and after that, you know, he kind of took a slump. But what I like about this film is that, well, thanks to this film, he takes a different path to Riggin in the fact that he has become sort of revered now as an incredible actor that we always knew he was. But because of the sort of role that he was in as Batman, he's not really been able to show us that. But I adore Michael Keaton. I think he's fantastic. I'm really happy that he's got these films like Spotlight and Birdman to sort of show us what he's made of. I think he's such an incredible actor, and in this film in particular he really shows it. And of course he's helped by his fantastic supporting actors. We've got Edward Norton as this kind of typical ridiculous actor that's increasingly hard to work with, and he's hilarious in the role, I must say. And then we've got Emma Stone, who plays Michael Keaton's daughter in the film, who we know that she has a history of rehab, and we know that she's also acting as Michael Keaton's assistant, you know, as well as his daughter, and their relationship is incredibly rocky at first. It's almost indifferent. They kind of don't even really relate to or talk to each other, but by the end of the film, I think it takes a really sweet, sort of adorable arc. And I think that their chemistry as father and daughter in this picture is really adorable, and I really enjoyed watching them in scenes together. I love Emma Stone. I think she's a fantastic actress. So, you know, again, it's fantastic that she's able to express her talent in roles such as these. I also loved the ambiguous sort of surrealism, if that's a word, of the there's a scene where Birdman actually appears. There's several scenes where Birdman, the sort of alter ego in Riggin's mind, appears to him while he's walking down the street, and then he starts to envision very sort of comic book action movie like scenes happening all around him. He envisions that he's flying around Broadway, and it's just this sort of ridiculous sort of hyper-realism of this man slowly, well actually rather quickly, unravelling. And I think sort of it's really fascinating to watch like, you know, you turn from one scene of total normality in relation to people sort of rehearsing for a play, doing the previews of a play, to this man, you know, walking down the street and envisioning giant metallic birds spouting fire, and he's got a superhero alter ego that's sort of hovering at his side. It's really surreal, and it's interesting, and it sort of grabs your attention. Not that the rest of the film doesn't, because the dialogue is so quick, it's so funny, and it's perfectly executed by the actors. But those scenes of, you know, really sort of, they take you down a weird turn, and I like that. I think they definitely keep you on your toes, but they also manage to express the sort of torment in this man's mind in relation to the business that he's in, the fact that he's an actor, he's struggling, all he wants is to be sort of renowned as a great actor, but it's taken its toll, and it's quite a sad story. And then of course you've got the really sort of ambiguous ending, which I won't spoil for you. By the way, sorry, sirens outside, not my fault. I sincerely apologise though. But we will get back to the review quickly. Still going. Oh, it's still going. This is great. This is great. Why? Why? And it's gone. We can get back to the review. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I think finally we are able to see Michael Keaton's talent channeled into an absolutely stunning performance. I was a fan of his anyway, but I think this film has just solidified how much I love him as an actor, and Alejandro's direction is stunning as per usual, and the story is a great one. I think it's a film that will keep you gripped. It sort of drops you straight into the situation, straight into the story, and it just keeps going. And it's fantastic. I would definitely advise anyone to check this film out. I think it's definitely one that you'll enjoy. And if I had to give it a rating out of 5 stars, I'd probably give it 5, just because literally when I was watching this film, I barely spoke. I was so invested in it. I was so engrossed. So yeah, I definitely think it's one to capture your attention. And I think it's a fantastic film. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. And I can see why it won like Best Picture and Best Director and Best Screenplay, I think it won at the Oscars. I think it's totally deserved, and yeah, it was just a fantastic film. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Happy New Year, by the way, and also may I say how absolutely gutted I am at the death of Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. I'm just absolutely distraught. I loved both of them, and I really hope they sort of rest well or in peace, because they were two of my favourites, and to hear the news so close after Christmas was heartbreaking. But it's sad, but hopefully 2017 will be better. So yeah, Happy New Year, guys. But I just wanted to mention those two because I love and adore both of them. So but yeah, that was my review of Birdman. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.